Joining us now, Deepwater Asset Management Managing Partner Doug Clinton. Doug, thanks for being here. So we're all trying to sort of get our arms around this here and try to figure out what the implications will be, although it seems certain that they won't be immediate or imminent or even medium term. So how are you thinking about this?
Julie, I think investors will ultimately shrug this off, not only because it's going to take years to ultimately figure out what is the resolution here, but I also think that even if we do get some changes to wallet, maybe some changes to watch, and maybe some changes to messaging, I don't think any of those are going to be big enough changes to crack Apple's dominance in the smartphone market. I think the iPhone will probably lose almost no share in terms of the things we're talking about as part of this antitrust case. And so ultimately, it's a scary headline. Apple will probably have to pay a several $billion fine as part of this, but I don't think that it threatens the overall ecosystem that they have built.
Also with us right now is New York University School of Law professor Eleanor Fox. Professor Fox, it is great to have you on the show as well. I guess I want to start high level, Professor. You've had time to look over the lawsuit. I'm just curious how strong you think it is.
Thank you. Good to be here. I think this is a very strong lawsuit. It's very, very well pleaded. It details many incidents of Apple taking action in order to prevent the competition from occurring. And so basically the thrust of it is that Apple has taken many actions to prevent competition and therefore raising the prices to consumers and cutting out options for consumers.
Eleanor, I wonder if you can give us any kind of insight into how exactly the Department of Justice decides which of these types of cases to bring, right? There are a lot of companies out there. It seems as though lately there have been a lot of cases against large tech companies in particular. Is it a matter of the confidence they can win a case? Is it, how does this sort of get worked out?
Right. So it's a combination of things. So, of course, big tech is very much in the headlines, and people think big tech is very powerful. So they have a very high profile. And the antitrust division, as well as the FTC, has been learning a lot and doing a lot in order to pursue what they think are big tech anti-competitive practices. And of course, Apple is one of the biggest companies in the world by market cap. So it affects all of our lives, most of our lives, and I think those considerations have caused the Justice Department to sue.
Doug, maybe you can sort of walk me through one confusing part for me, which is I don't understand, Doug, where the consumer harm is. You look at customer satisfaction rates for iPhones, they are off the charts. I mean, it's literally like 98%. People love their iPhones, they buy them. Every fall, they buy new ones. If you didn't want to buy an iPhone, go buy an Android device. Tell me if you agree or am I off track here?
You are totally on track, Josh. I'm glad you brought it up because when you think about all these mega cap tech companies, there is a common thread, which is they are all the best service providers for the categories that they dominate. Amazon's the best retailer you can buy from. Google's is the best search engine. Meta has the best social apps. And what you see online just in general is because it is this open platform where there's zero cost of switching for most of these products, and I would argue zero cost of switching even for a phone, although you have to set up a new account if you move to Android from iPhone, the best products just win and they get this dominant market share. And so I struggle with the same question, Josh. I think that the consumers have ultimately benefited and won here, despite the fact that we're seeing very high market shares from all of these leading internet companies.
Eleanor, I suspect that Apple's argument will be similar to what Doug is saying. How successful is something like that going to be in court?
Well, of course, the Department of Justice has a very different narrative and has allegations that Apple charges excessive prices, for example, for developers that want to sell premium products on Apple. Apple charges about 30%, and this would not happen if there were competition. The complaint itself begins with a story, and it is a story of when a user of a Kindle on Apple wants to switch and switches to a Kindle on Android, and Steve Jobs finds out about it and he says, this is very bad. And that's sort of the beginning of the story that the DOJ is telling, is how Apple is trying to prevent consumers from switching at zero cost. A lot of the examples are about that.
They are, and I'm sure we're going to hear much more about them as we all try to digest this and what it means. Thank you both so much for helping us understand it. Doug Clinton and Eleanor Fox, appreciate it.